King Alren had ruled the land of Rethar for many years. He was not a cruel king, he was not a weak one either, but his kingdom was tired. Every year, there was a small war, sometimes with the northern hills, sometimes with the eastern valley, nothing big, but never quiet. The people paid the price, farms burned, markets closed, fathers left home and did not return. The king lived in a large stone palace on a hill. From his window, he could see the city below. At night, the lights were fewer than before. One evening, King Alren asked his guard to leave him alone. He removed his crown and placed it on the table. He stared at it for a long time. "This crown is heavy," he said softly, though no one was there. The next morning, he called his council. The council was made of old men and young fighters. They spoke of borders, taxes, and enemies. The king listened quietly. Then he said, "How many more years will this land bleed?" The room went silent. One man replied, "As long as we are strong, they will fear us." The king shook his head. "They do not fear us. They hate us." That same week, news came, another clash at the border, more lives lost. That night, the king could not sleep. He walked through the palace halls. Paintings of past kings watched him. All wore crowns, all held swords. He wondered how many of them had chosen war because it was easier than peace. The next day, the king did something no one expected. He left the palace. No guards, no banners, just simple clothes. He walked into the city. He spoke to farmers whose fields were dry. He spoke to mothers waiting for sons. He spoke to shop owners counting empty shelves. No one knew he was the king. One old man said to him, "We don't need more battles. We need rest." That sentence stayed with him. At sunset, the king returned to the palace. The following morning, he sent letters to every rival leader. Not threats, not demands, just one line, "Come and speak." No weapons. The council was angry. "This is dangerous," they said, "you will look weak." The king answered, "Peace always looks weak to those who profit from war." The leaders came. They sat in a simple hall, no soldiers inside, only words. They spoke of land, of old anger, of broken promises. The talks lasted days. Some leaders walked out, some shouted, some laughed, but the king stayed calm. Then, on the fifth day, he stood up. He removed his crown. He placed it on the table between them. "I will no longer rule as king," he said. "I will rule as a neighbor." The room froze. He continued, "This crown makes you see me as an enemy. Without it, I am just a man who wants his people safe." Silence filled the hall. One leader spoke, "If you give up your crown, who will rule?" The king answered, "The people will. Through council. Through shared rule." The leaders whispered among themselves. They had prepared for war, not this. That night, something changed. The talks became softer. Borders were redrawn. Trade paths opened. Old debts were forgiven. No one won, no one lost. When the leaders left, there was no cheering, no victory parade, only quiet. The next morning, King Alren walked to the city square. He stood before the people. "I am no longer your king," he said. "I am your servant." The crowd was confused. Some were afraid, some were angry, but then something else happened. A mother stepped forward. She held her child's hand. "Will there be war again?" she asked. He smiled gently, "Not if I can help it." Years passed. Rethar changed. There was no crown anymore, no single ruler. A council led the land. Farmers had a voice, merchants had a voice, teachers had a voice. King Alren lived in a small house near the fields. He worked with his hands. He listened more than he spoke. The borders stayed quiet. Children grew up without learning the sound of battle. One day, a traveler asked an old man, "Was there once a king here?" The old man smiled, "Yes. He gave up power so we could sleep at night." The traveler looked around. The land was calm. The people were smiling. At sunset, the former king sat outside his home. No crown, no guards, only peace. He closed his eyes and breathed. The crown was gone, but the kingdom finally had rest.